Hi everybody, I wanted to go over all of the items that were in the materials pickup today on Friday, October 9th. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the Ziploc bag. So everybody got a Ziploc bag that had at least 3 items in it. Number 1 was a Sharpie. We will be using that for some of our art projects. So I highly recommend that the Sharpie be put aside so that it doesn't get mixed in with the Expo marker that we use on our whiteboards, because obviously Sharpies are permanent and Expos are not. We also provided the first grade sight word ring, and some students also got a smaller ring that has the kindergarten sight word. So if they're still working on learning the kindergarten words, there will be 2 rings included, but they all at least have this big, large ring of first grade sight words. And the other item is called a Rec and Rec. It is a beads on a pipe cleaner, and we're gonna be using that for math. So what I recommend is putting the Sharpie away. The sight words can be left in the bag, or they can be put in another safe place that you have at home. And then the Rec and Rec can be put in the basket that kids have their folders in, or it can stay in the Ziploc bag, whatever works best for you. All right, I'm gonna go through the items one at a time that were in the folder. So the first thing that you'll see is an adjective bank, and it's stapled within a verb bank and a noun bank. And these are stapled in the corner. So what I recommend, they're also hole punch, but what I recommend is actually putting these in the yellow language arts folder in the pocket in the front, so that kids can take it in and out. We're gonna be using this year to add either adjectives, nouns, or verbs, and draw little pictures, and this is going to help them with a sentence building activity that we're going to do after they finish their handwriting. So again, this can go inside the pocket. It is hole punch, but again, I recommend the pocket. We're gonna be finishing up with our handwriting by next Friday. So there should just be the last few pages, 5 or 6. We're gonna double up on one of the days so that we can just go ahead and finish. The following week, so I would say for next weekend, what you'll wanna do is take everything out of here and put in our new language arts that we're going to be doing, which is our sentence building, which is why we're going to have that noun, adjective, and verb bank. That's going to help us with our sentence building. So then this will be replacing everything that you pull out of here, and this can all be recycled. It does not need to be turned in. And then there should also still be the sentence starters and these little laminated reference sheets. Those can also stay in the front pocket, because eventually when we move to Independent Journal, kids are going to be able to use those to reference when they're starting their sentences. So that is for the yellow folder. So these are these items. But again, I would maybe put this in the pocket. You could put it in there now, that's fine. This new packet should not be put in until Friday, after Friday, when we're gonna pull everything out, and this will be our new language arts that will be starting the following week. Next, we have our blue folder items, which is our math folder items. So students actually finished their math folder. It should have been late last week. So everything inside the math folder, except for the math warm-up, should be taken out. So math book 1 can all be taken out. You're gonna wanna replace, though, you're gonna wanna put back the daily math warm-up, because we still do this every single day, along with our number chart too. So the doubles can go right behind the math warm-up, and it's 2-sided. There's also rainbow facts to 10. So we're gonna be using our doubles. We'll be going over this together each day, and then eventually we'll move on to our rainbow facts to 10. We'll be doing some coloring, filling this out, and then this will be used as a reference sheet as well. Pull out all of the old math for math practice 1 and go ahead and replace it with math practice 2. So these are a little bit more challenging than the first worksheets in math practice 1. And again, we'll assign one of these a day to practice mostly addition and subtraction. Everything else that is still in the pocket can stay there. So again, we have our number chart, we have a 4-square math, and some 10 frames. So those can stay there because we'll use those throughout the year as well. So that is your blue math folder. Next is the red folder. So it's our spelling folder. So for now, you can pull out all of the ones that we've already done. There should maybe be some extras, but then these can just go right into the back. So these are just replacements for our daily blending, our 10 words that we do. So those can be put inside the red folder. Next is our green folder, which is our calendar folder. Not much is going to change. We're going to keep our months of the year. You can pull out the September calendar and you can replace it with the November calendar. So just slip it right into the plastic covering. We're obviously still working on October, and then building the date is dry erase, so that can stay in there. We're going to keep working with that. We also have a new set of our poems for our poetry folder. So that is our purple folder. So you're going to go ahead and actually leave the poems in your poetry folder because we kind of want them to have a nice little reference of poems, a nice little guide of poems. And sometimes we will reference other poems, so we just want to make sure that we're just building on top of that. Some of you have already turned in the poems from the first pickup that we had, which is fine, not a big deal. But just go ahead, you don't need to take anything out of here, just add these to the back, add the new poems to the back. And we do one each week, so that's for our purple folder. Students will be getting a brand new journal. So they were using the yellow journal, but now we're moving on to our orange journal. So there are going to be about 5 or 6 pages left in the yellow journal. So we're going to go ahead and just let students free write in there if they would like. But we are going to move on to our October and November journal. So starting next week on Monday, we're going to just start with the very first page of our journal. And it pretty much looks the same. It has the same lines, the same quick checks. Not much has changed. There is a packet of our math. We are still working on our old packet from Module 1. This will be Module 2. And we are not starting Module 2 for another couple weeks or so. So we're going to continue with that, the math packet that should not be huge anymore. We've actually made a nice dent in it. But this one for the next round is actually stapled. It's a smaller module. And so what students can do each day is they can, when it's time to do our worksheet, they can pull out their packet. And this time it's front and back. So we will be doing 1 page per day. And after they finish the page, they can go ahead and tear it off, and then they'll be ready for the following page for the next day. So again, it'll be a front and back instead of 2 separate pages. They can tear it off. It could be recycled at the end of the day. You can keep it. It's up to you. Some students, this isn't for everybody, but some students received a green folder, and inside it has 2 letters of each letter. And this will be used for a couple of my reading groups. We'll be doing some word building. And so only some of my class got this. So if you didn't get it, it means that your kid won't be using this for reading groups. They'll be doing something different. So I just wanted to point that out. Make sure this stays in a nice, safe spot. An option that you might want to consider is maybe even using a Sharpie to write the letters on the plastic so that when kids are pulling these letters out, they know where to put them back to. They know the correct spot to put them back to. And then there is a new folder. It's black. It's not labeled with a label because it's kind of going to be like a catch-all folder. There's going to be kind of a mix of things. In it, I put a new, just kind of like a free choice book where they can make a book. This one doesn't have lines, but this is if they finish something early, if they're waiting to get logged on, if they're in the waiting room waiting to come into Zoom, whatever, they can be working on making a book, writing, drawing pictures. There's no real directions for it, but it's kind of more of a free choice. We're going to be doing a unit on Dia de los Muertos, and so we have a sugar skull mask outline, and we'll be doing a little unit on that. So they should not do anything with it yet before we talk about it. There's going to be some art paper clipped, so it's the nice thick paper. So we're going to be doing some art and hopefully getting a chance to use our paints. We're going to do a pumpkin unit and some other fall units. So we want to make sure that this stays in the pocket because it's really nice paper, and if we're going to paint, we want to make sure we're using this nice thick paper so we don't put holes in our art. And then we have some just extra coloring sheets for, again, if kids finish things early, if they're waiting to get logged on or in a waiting room, they can go ahead and color. We have 2 different ones that we included. I could get these separated. And then this will just be kind of a fun thing we do a little closer to Halloween. It's called Halloween Feelings. There's 2 pages. So we'll do that when we get closer to Halloween. On the other side, you will find 2 pages that have lines and then a picture on the back. And what this is for is that we have pen pals. So I set us up with a class in West Virginia, and it's a class of 1st graders. There's 20 students. And we are going to be writing letters back and forth to these 1st graders. And so I included 2 sheets. My goal is to have us every 4 to 6 weeks write a letter to the class. And we will be doing it directed. We will be doing it as a class. Each one of the students in our class already has somebody that they're paired up with from the other class. And what we will do is I will set up maybe a drop-off day where you can come just drop off their letter. I will go ahead and I will be mailing them all off to the teacher, Mrs. Powell, and she will be putting them in envelopes and sending them off to her own students. So she'll be stamping them, addressing them, and this is so we don't have to worry about giving out addresses and for privacy purposes. So, but what we are going to do is we're going to start writing some letters. And so I included 2 because I'm not sure what our timeline will be, how long it'll take for ours to get there and for ours to be received. So we'll just hold on to them. If we just use 1 for now and then maybe another one in a few weeks, then that's what we'll do. So I'm very excited to be starting this program, and yeah, your child will have a pen pal this year, which is very cool. And last is a fall activities packet. So this is just kind of a general packet. There's numbers, there's some sight words, verbs, long and short sounds of vowels, kind of just some activities of, again, that have to do with fall, but also if your kids finish something early, if they have some downtime, they can do this. This is not going to be assigned in Google Classroom. This is just kind of a fun extra thing because we know some students finish, their math worksheets very quickly, or they get their work done, during independent time very quickly. So this is just something a little extra that they can do when they have free time and when their work gets done early. So again, this is just extra, not required. And some kids may want to do it. Some might not be as interested. So it's just up to you. It's up to them. So those can all just stay in the black folder. I think the best thing to do is to keep everything where I put it originally, because when I reference something, I'm going to say go to your black folder or go to your green folder or go to your yellow folder. And if it's just all kept where I put it originally, then students will have an easier time to locate it and not have to be shuffling around and trying to find all their things. If for some reason you did not receive something that I just went through on this video, please let me know and I can make sure that we get that to you. I want to make sure that everyone's set up for success and that we don't have things missing. And if at any time, between now and the next 6 weeks, if something does go missing or you need something replaced, let me know and I will go ahead and make sure that you get that replacement. So that's it for now. I wanted to also give everybody kind of a heads up that starting in 2 weeks from now, not next week, the week after, we're going to change our Google Classroom assignment. So instead of submitting the math, the handwriting, and the ABC book, because we'll actually be done with our ABC book next week, we'll be finishing next Friday. Instead of submitting those 3 things, we're actually going to cut it down to journal. We're going to transition a little bit. We will still have these assignments. They will still be assigned. But as far as your submission for Google Classroom each day, will just be journal. And I will talk more about that when we get closer because, again, we're not starting that next week. It'll be the week after. So I apologize for the length of this video, but I wanted to make sure it was very thorough and that I went through every item. And again, if there's anything you need, any other support you need, or any other items that I can provide for you, please let me know. Send me a message on ClassTag and I'd be happy to help you. So I hope you have a great weekend. And if you have any questions, just send them my way. Thanks a lot.